Right, yeah.
Like, I saw something the other day, right? And some of the older guys, I don't know, I think it was a rally in somewhere else, right? And the older guys talking about secondary wisdom and second. And I was like, listen, we would have walked away from that long. Like, I'm gonna just go ahead and leave. You know what I mean? Because they were arguing and saying the same things, but it's the same thing with your understanding.
That was the God original self recorded that, right?
No, I recorded that one.
Oh, you recorded that? Yeah.
But you're seeing that what happens that you're.
I didn't see the end of that though.
He did record it. No, I put up the extended version of it.
Oh, okay. I gotta see because I didn't see the answer in his clip, and I was like, damn, I ain't seen how he showed and proved that.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, there were different understandings of secondary, or
Is wisdom secondary but most necessary?
Because I mean, the way I'm taught, like knowledge is first,
right,
and wisdom is second.
But wisdom is secondary. It's literally.
And it literally said like that's what I said. You would have been like this. I'm leaving now.
Listen,
no.
For me, I didn't hear the whole bill, but for me, the whole thing is really about the pedagogical technique with women. You don't tell people that what their worth is secondary, no matter what.
Yeah, no, but see, we're not. And that's another sub part of the discussion because wisdom is not the woman. We're not saying that.
Right.
Listen, but the principle of wisdom comes at. It can't be wise without knowledge.
Because now what happens you're recording actual someone's understanding and flaws. So up here, I may have an idea that you think is like, this is amazing. And I say it comes out as soon as it's like, go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No.
Listen, I got a call yesterday from Dark Kim. He said, y'all motherfuckers don't know what fucking mathematics is.
No. Because guess what? They all, to me, as I got older.
What the fuck?
As I got older, right, in the Supreme Mathematics, to me it was like integrated mathematics because you need one they all go together. You take one away, it falls apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you take one away, it falls apart.
Right.
So you can't skip the second step because what happens is that the wisdom part is that, remember, here's the old school rule, right? What freezes 32 degrees, right? As I'm speaking, you're frozen. No one was frozen.
But that's
they wasn't understanding his wisdom. They weren't frozen.
That's where the most necessary part comes in.
And that's what you got to
practice.
practice.
Most necessary. Now you get into the definition because there is a definition of secondary when you add suffix "ary" to it. Then it makes it less than, right? But that's not how it's manifested here. It's like because when you say secondary, but most necessary. Then it's almost like a oxy, like. So
if you take the but away and you put the and, you see what I mean? It just the wording. So you have the wordsmith here, right? So, but you don't want one weapon.
Right.
You want multiple weapons because everything is not going to work.
But really, the fight in that is because of the woman. No matter what, the issue with that term is because that was always told to women. You're secondary, but most necessary. Because people couldn't really show the woman their place was of a magnificent value. You know what I'm saying?
Until you see, right? Until you see, like how we say, the mother is the first teacher of the child, right? And they kind of help us develop our understanding because they get to see what I like, what our interests are. They get to see us, and then they'll kind of like nurture us in those realms.
Yeah.
My mother gave me a jump rope one day, right, for a gift. And I was like, what the hell is this, right? And she has, son, you have no coordination. My mother put me in ballet and gave me a jump rope, right? She says, no, like, you want to play football, you can't juke nobody, you sure? She gave me a jump rope.
You like Herschel Walker.
Now I got a little bit of game, right? But in the beginning, she's like, you need this, right? And I'm like, a jump, I'm not a girl, right? But what do you see most of the boxers? And now I'm like, thank you, Mom. You know what I mean? Because she had an understanding that I didn't have, right? And my father was like, he's like martial arts and boxing and stuff like that. And he saw the jump rope. He tried to take that shit, right? He was like, oh, this is a nice jump rope because it was like leather. And I didn't appreciate it. It was a real jump rope. It wasn't no girl jump rope. And she's like, this is mijo, this is for you. And I'm like, Mom, I ain't no jump rope. You know what I mean? But she was like, you uncoordinated. You a little this. And then she showed me. And I'm like this. It was bad, bro. I'm doing it backwards, I'm doing forward. And then it started getting to the rhythm. And now I'm out there with the girls, jumping double dutch, trying not to get caught out there. But when you start looking at how your understanding gets developed, right? That mom culture, that food, when you having a long day, as soon as you got writer's block, what do you want, some rice and this?
I don't get writer's block.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, as soon as the music, But think about it. You having that long day, they always come with something to kind of lift you up. They know how to lift you up. My mother-in-law, has the way to say something like, I bought a stove the other day, right? And she goes, the flickers, like this, it has 4 flickers, right? It doesn't work, right? And I'm like, this is some bullshit, right? So I go, let's look at some stoves. So we look at the stoves, and all of a sudden the microwave doesn't work. And the toaster is out of play, right? I was like, she thinks it's fucking Christmas, right? But at the same time, grandma takes care of the babies with the youth. She about to shake me down. And understanding that how moms have a different, the way they nurture us, right? If your mama's stove is busted, dude, you gotta get a new stove. If mom is complaining, I'm team mama's boy, that's just how I get down, right? If she got a problem, dude, that's my problem. You know what I mean? So now when she gave me the jump rope, right? I always make films about my mother's deceased, right? So my mother-in-law now. When my mother gave me the jump rope, it's because I couldn't handle coordination. She put me in dance. She put me in tap and ballet, two of the hardest fucking dances that you could do. And I got no rhythm, right? To the point where I begged for ballroom. And then I got nice with the salsa and the hustle and the foxtrot and the swing. And she goes, son, I had to see what you were good. I just had to throw you fire. Right? Threw me in and then you started seeing like their understanding of how do I build this young man?
It goes back to that whole thing, the Linda Ronstadt thing, and the thing about all these people trying new things.
Right.
You know, like in the classroom, creativity, the guy wise, you're young. So at this age, though, you're supposed to be trying out everything.
How old?
You know, you should be trying out. Right?
Wow. That's
you should be trying out if you can, right? You should be trying out if you could rhyme. You should be trying out if you could sing. You should try out all the things that are expected of black people in the cliches of America, but then all the other things too. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said. You should do challenges of how well you could read, how much you could read. I used to do stuff like that when I got knowledge. I would do things. When we got knowledge, I would do things like how many hours can I read in a row, and I broke whole nights reading.
Like a tolerance?
Yeah, like how straight I could read, how many hours I could read straight. These are things exercisers do, and I'd be the next day, and I'd be all fucked up, and I was like, I'm still reading though, but not very well, and
he builds right to the example, right? The young God is knowledge born, right? My knowledge book, like I have 16, 19, right, and then 9, right? So a young, like you can actually be our son at that age. So now when you come in and you seeking certain things, right, as a scholar, you come in with the kind of like the been there, done that guys for you. How did this work for you, Sunes? I would like to try that. As soon as this, hey, go here, try this, try that, and then that's how we
goes back to that whole thing, the secondary thing, right? Because it's add-on, it's a redundancy. It's a redundancy. Wisdom is secondary. That's a redundancy. We all know that's second, so you wouldn't have to say that. So you're saying it though for the woman. And no, in the history of it, it was to remind the woman that she should know her place, though, right? The problem with teaching women, though, is that they're taught with a goal in mind, to be mine. But what happens is that every single student, especially original people, have to be taught that they have a mastery within themselves to achieve. That every single earth has to master something of themselves, that is irrespective of any individual, including her God too. You know what I mean?
Wait, but you got to master herself.
Right, of course.
You say master her God.
There's work to master of herself. I mean herself.
Yeah, right.
Not irrespective of her God, like
okay.
that it's not just him showing her what to do and how to achieve things and reflect. There are things that she must realize of that mastery, and the greater the student to me, the more distinct and unique they are to that individual. You know what I mean?
Well, I said, but for that, because you didn't see it, right?
No, I didn't.
You said only because just to be clear, because
I'm just saying the history that I have seen and the issues with that has been because of that. But with that, I definitely want to see the whole thing because
there was some brothers that was making like a lot of life was saying that my wisdom is supreme, it's not secondary.
Wisdom, my wisdom is supreme. Ain't nothing secondary to that.
And when he was saying my wisdom is supreme, he wasn't speaking in reference to a woman. He's speaking in reference to his wise words, ways, and actions. And my wise words, ways, and actions is supreme.
Sure, yeah.
You're saying now we get into the actual debate about it. You know, knowledge is first and foremost, and wisdom is second, and then we can add the airy to it. But then, you know, are you trying to say that it's less than? No, it's not less than, because wisdom is needed. You know what I'm saying? So
it needed more explanation. You know what I mean? It needed just a little bit more explanation, because think about it. All the audience that was there, those were seasoned gods.
Yes.
Those are like they had more gray hairs than black in that crowd. You know what I mean? Those are seasoned gods, right? We just starting to get some grays in there. As soon as it's trying to hide what he got, right? But they had more grays than black. So now when you say something like to that audience, you gotta really say, hey, listen. Almost like you're like, I am the supreme wisdom. You're saying it now. You have to now you just threw a challenge out there, and now the experts are looking at you like, I don't think so. You know what I mean? You kind of threw that out there, and it's like, prove it. You know what I mean? And then as you prove it, now you have to build on that. And what happens is that there was a disagreement there. But normally you get the head nods, you didn't get that. You got more, and then you got like other people intervening, and you kind of lost the cycle.
And see, and I think that's, because Dark Kennedy called me up. He's just like, you're showing this on the, a law school channel, because really, like for me, it's like it's almost like a mirror. So you can't teach a 5% anything, right? But at the same time, you put a mirror up, you say like, look, you got a book in your nose.
Yeah.
You got
the mirror and the friend. Remember, see the mirror and the friend, right? The mirror and because guess what? Sometimes you remember you got to master yourself. Mm-hmm. So the friend is like, hey man, you were a little harsh. You know what I mean? My friends speak a little different, right? I got my friends that are very raw, but now that we're getting older, it's ways that you're a little harsh, Ron. You know what I mean? Right. But it's like, dude, that was messed up. Right?
Sometimes harshness is needed.
Oh, but then the 19-year-olds will say, that was tough. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, what is that? And it's like tough love. So a lot of times when you're in that environment and you make a statement like that, you really have to say, what I'm about to say, all I need is a minute to explain this because y'all might beat me up. When I say my wisdom is supreme, what I'm saying is this. I'm not knocking the knowledge because I need that knowledge so in order for this to be supreme. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that wisdom is my favorite weapon to use because you need to be able to see, move, and whatever. I need the others. I need understanding. I need culture freedom. I need these things. But wisdom just happens to be my favorite. If you put it like that and you still give the others their points, you keep the crowd. But if you never practice that, understand that was in your head, and you just practice it right here, dude, you're gonna get it. You know what I mean? Because now if he practiced that in the mirror and then did it in the build.
That's the whole thing, though.
No one practices. No one says, "How do I sound when I say this?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, am I crazy? And that's what we do with the kids.
If Mecca did this.